All right, here's another one. How much interest will an account of $15,000 bear after 5 years, 3.2% calculated annually, so every year? All right, so use the compound interest formula and then we'll find our interest afterwards. So here is our formula once again. Let's put in the information we know. We don't know the final amount. We know that they invested $15,000, so that's our P. We have 1 plus our rate is 3.2, so we have 0.032. And the amount of time in the account is 5 years. Let's calculate this. Again, go one step at a time. First, you do the parentheses, so you add those, and we get 15,000 times 1.032. We then need to do our exponent, so we take 1.032 to the 5th power. That gives us 15,000 times 1.1757 approximately. I'm just going to leave the number in my calculator and then go times 15,000. And when I do, I get $17,558.59. Okay. Now this is the amount that's in the account at the end of those 5 years. They asked how much compound interest it would bear. So we need to go back and say, okay, well, how much interest did we earn? We ended up with $17,558.59. We started with $15,000. What's the difference there? Because the difference between those two is how much it grew by, and how much that is the interest, is how much you're growing by. So we find that it would bear $2,558.59 in interest. All right, let's try another. Diana invests $5,300 at 4% APR for 5 years. Interest is compounded yearly. To the nearest dollar, how much is in the account at the end of those 5 years? So this time they want to know how much is in the account. So we're not going to have to do the subtraction part. We just use the formula and find our amount at the end of those years. So we put our principal is $5,300. The rate 1 plus 0.04, 4%. And it is in for 5 years, compounded each time each year, so that's 5 times. Again, do parentheses first, add them together, raise that to the power, 1.04 to the 5th power, gives me about 1.21665. Again, I'm just going to leave that in my calculator instead of rounding it off, and go times 5,300. So if you're getting a little different number than me, it's probably because you rounded the number off and multiplied, rather than just leaving the number in your calculator and using the full thing. You should get around $6,500 or $6,400, but exact answer is $6,448.26. All right, here's where we get a little trickier. It says, how much more interest will an account of $1,000 bear after 5 years at 6% interest if it's compounded annually, instead of using simple interest? Okay, so we are going to do both formulas and see how much more we earn in a compound interest situation than we do in a simple interest situation. So remember, we had the two different equations. Compound interest, the amount at the end was the principal times 1 plus the rate raised to the number of times it's compounded. Simple interest was just principal times rate times time, and that just gives us our interest straightforward. If you use the compound interest, we're going to have to then subtract the original amount to find out how much interest we made. Let's calculate both of these. We'll start with the compound. The amount we take, $1,000 is our principal, or our original amount, times 1 plus 6% interest would be 0.06, and it's in there for 5 years. So we have 1,000 times 1.06 when we add those together. We take out our calculator and take 1.06 to the 5th power, or times itself 5 times. And you should get about 1.3382255. It goes on from there. Again, just leave the number in your calculator and go times 1,000. And when I do, I get $1,338.23. That's the amount in the account at the end of the 5 years. How much interest did you earn? Well, you started with 1,000 and now you have $1,338.23. Anything added to your 1,000 was interest. So the difference there is $338.23. That's how much interest you earned with a compound account. With simple interest, the principal amount was $1,000, our rate was 6%, so 0.06, and the amount of time was 5 years, so 5. We just multiply those together. And we get $300. So with simple interest, you would earn $300 from that account. With compound, you would earn $338.23. How much more do you earn in the compound interest account? Well, we just take the two and subtract them to find the difference. So one made $338.23, the other only made $300. That's a difference of $38.23. So having a compound interest account in this situation made $38.23 more than if you had just used a simple interest account.